But you remember back in 2022 when 6 women working together but claiming to be independent won formerly safe Liberal seats, calling themselves the Teals. Now, of course, teal is, Liberal blue with just a tinge of green because we're worried about the climate. Well, by now everybody knows that the Teals are absolute greens all the way through. In fact, they're greens in all but name. Recent analysis published today in the Daily Telegraph shows the Teals voted so often with the Greens as to be barely indistinguishable. Have a look at these voting patterns. Monique Ryan, for instance, from Kooyong, she voted 77% of the time in alignment with the Greens. Or what about Zali Steggall from Warringah? 75% of the time that she voted, she was aligned with the Greens party. But Zoe Daniel and Sophie Scamps, well, it was 81% of the time for them. And the winner, coming in at 94%, is North Sydney MP Kylie Tink. Now, Kylie Tink did amuse me when confronted with these voting patterns. She said, on 100% of occasions, now remember, 94% of the time she voted with the Greens, but on 100% of occasions, I've voted in a way that is consistent with my community's expectations and ambitions, which makes you wonder, why didn't her community just elect a Green? I suspect they did. Actually, just on that, she's voted 94% of the time with the Greens. You want to know what percentage of votes the Greens got in her seat back in 2022? 8.5%. Absolutely incredible. The people of North Sydney did not get what they were voting for. If the Body Snatchers replaced Kylie Tink with Adam Band, I'm not sure anybody would know the difference. The Teals, Liz, are basically Greens, but with more expensive lipstick.
100%. And I love that these guys still call themselves independent when their voting record shows, well, at least according to these numbers, they're voting as a bloc 75% of the time at least. So are you really independent? And, of course, siding with the Greens, which comes as no surprise because while they were quite an unknown quantity at the last election, which was their first election, we all knew that a large chunk of their funding was coming from Simon Holmes' Court's Climate 200. So these guys almost solely, no other issue, they were like single issue candidates. It was all about the climate. And it's going to be incredibly interesting to see how they go now that the climate politically has changed a lot and people are far more concerned about cost of living crisis, the cost of energy, things going forward, including education, you name it. The climate has taken a back seat as people have realised more and more over these last few years of the Albanese government just how much their attention to climate is hitting their hip pocket. And I feel that they're going to have just different priorities heading in to the election next year.